The Pride Lands had always been a place of beauty, but beauty can hide shadows, and shadows can grow into fear. The animals of the Pride Lands were restless, more cautious than usual, and even the wind seemed to carry a warning. Fear is subtle at first, easy to ignore, but once it takes root, it spreads faster than fire across dry grass. The Lion Guard gathered at Pride Rock, sensing the unease that pulsed through the savannah. Fully sharp eyes scanned every shadow, searching for threats, yet found none visible. Onos circled above, scanning the horizon for displeasures, for signs that danger was approaching. But what he saw was not an enemy, was hesitation, confusion, and fear in every corner. Kion's first instinct was to roar, to remind the Pride Lands that courage could protect them. But he felt a weight he had never carried before. Fear is not defeated by noise or force. It is confronted, understood, and faced. He realized that to overcome fear, they would need to confront it within themselves first. The first test came when a sudden predator strike threatened the southern watering hole. Prey darted into her path unpredictably, and she realized that reacting too fast without observing could worsen the chaos. Besht stepped forward to shield the vulnerable, but even his massive presence could not calm the animal's fear. Ono tried to warn the herd, but panic muted understanding. Bunga charged recklessly, almost triggering a stampede. We have to slow down, understand it, and face it together. For the first time, the guard listened, hesitated, and thought before acting, learning from it and using it to guide action rather than dictate it. Their next move required coordination like never before. Best would position himself as a protective shield, ready to block threats while calming those nearby. Ono would monitor from above, directing both prey and predators to minimize panic. Bunga's courage would inspire those frozen in fear, showing them that even the smallest act of bravery can ripple outward. Kion coordinated them all, balancing instinct, knowledge, and strategy. As they moved together, something remarkable happened. The Pride Lands began to respond to the guard's example. Bunga's fearless interventions encouraged cubs and timid creatures alike to step forward, to participate in their own defense. The enemy, though still unseen, grew frustrated. Every move they made countered panic, every coordinated action diminished terror, and every small victory strengthened the land's resolve. By midday, the southern watering hole was secure, not because of brute force, but because fear had been confronted directly, transformed into focused courage. The Lion Guard had not just protected the animals, they had taught them the first lesson of bravery. That fear can be managed, guided, and overcome through action and trust. Kion's heart swelled with pride, not for victory, but for the growth of his team and the animals they protected. The challenges were far from over. Rumors, and whispers causing disputes among animals that had long lived in peace. The guard had to move quickly, not to attack, but to teach, calm, and unite. Kion emphasized that every act of courage, no matter how small, contributed to a larger battle against fear itself. The second encounter was more subtle, but just as dangerous. A shadow of doubt had reached the northern plains. Besht positioned himself in plain sight, a living symbol of protection. Ono flew overhead. Bunga interacted directly with the cubs, demonstrating bravery through play and encouragement. Fear, that had seemed unshakable, began to lift, as animals learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. Trust was restored, cooperation renewed, and a quiet confidence settled over the land. We faced fear itself. Fear is strong, but it is never stronger than those who choose to face it together. The guard roared in agreement, not as a warning, but as a celebration of courage and unity. The Pride Land slept that night, not merely in safety, but with a renewed understanding. Fear is temporary, but the strength born of unity, trust, and courage endures. Kion realized that true leadership is not in commanding through power, but inspiring through example. and the Lion Guard, each member strengthened by lessons of fear faced and overcome. The night settled over the Pride Lands like a velvet curtain. But Kion sensed the unease still lingering beneath its calm surface. Fear, though diminished in some corners, had not been eradicated, was patient, waiting for the smallest mistake, the slightest hesitation, to creep back into the hearts of the animals. The Lion Guard knew that courage was not a one-time act. It was a continual choice, a practice that required vigilance, trust, and unity. The challenge that lay ahead was greater than any battle of claws and teeth. It was a test of spirit endurance and the power of togetherness. The first sign of this new challenge came at dawn. Bullies scouting the eastern plains noticed unusual behavior among the grazers. Herds huddled nervously, and cubs clung to their parents, eyes wide with terror over something unseen. It was subtle, almost imperceptible to anyone not trained to notice the faint ripples of anxiety that fear leaves behind. Kion called a council with the guard, emphasizing that this battle could not be fought with strength or speed alone. Wisdom, patience, and coordinated action would determine success. Their plan focused on anticipation and reassurance. Fully ran swift patrols not to chase threats, but to guide animals calmly through uncertain terrain. Veshti's presence alone calmed the herds, signaling that protection was constant. Ono circled above, acting as both observer and communicator, spotting signs of fear before they escalated into panic. Bunga, whose natural boldness sometimes led to recklessness, learned to channel his courage into encouragement, showing the smallest creatures that bravery could take many forms. Kion orchestrated it all, ensuring that every movement, every action, worked to build confidence rather than reliance on force. The enemy revealed itself in the form of deception and manipulation, invisible but devastating. It spread rumors of danger, amplified insecurities, and encouraged division. Predators who normally coexisted became suspicious of each other. Herds hesitated to share water, and even the young cubs began questioning the safety of their elders. It was a battlefield that no claw could conquer, a war waged in minds and hearts rather than bodies. The Lion Guard adapted. They split into small units, each focusing on restoring confidence in a different region. Fuli moved like a streak of reassurance, showing animals safe paths and delivering vital information that countered the lies. Vesht remained in strategic locations, his calm demeanor and strength serving as living proof that protection existed even in the darkest moments. Ono's sharp eyes detected potential flashpoints, allowing the guard to intervene subtly before fear escalated into chaos. Bunga worked alongside the youngest cubs, teaching them that courage was learned, practiced, and shared. Kion moved between them all, coordinating each step, ensuring that trust replaced panic and understanding replaced doubt. As days passed, small victories multiplied. Grazers learned to trust their instincts again. Predators respected boundaries, and even the cubs began exploring without hesitation. The Pride Lands were healing, not through force, but through consistent, coordinated action. The Lion Guard became a living example of courage that inspired others to find bravery within themselves. Every small act of leadership reinforced the lesson that strength alone could never overcome. Fear it required unity, wisdom, and deliberate effort. The ultimate test came when the enemy launched a final attempt to destabilize the land. Using every subtle trick, it orchestrated simultaneous disturbances across the Pride Lands, aiming to overwhelm the Guard with sheer panic. But Kion and his team were ready. Each member moved with precision, fully intercepted fleeing animals, guiding them calmly to safety. Vesht positioned himself to protect vulnerable regions, blocking dangers without aggression. Ono monitored from above, directing reinforcements and predicting patterns before fear could take hold. Bunga encouraged and rallied, giving courage to those paralyzed by uncertainty. Kion coordinated each action like a maestro, ensuring no member acted alone and that every effort reinforced the others. The enemy attempted to exploit hesitation, but hesitation was gone. The animals had learned to trust each other, trust their leaders, and trust themselves. When the final confrontation unfolded, it was not a clash of claws, but a display of unity. The Pridelands resisted panic at every level. Boar, with the guard leading by example, turning fear into focus, anxiety into action, and doubt into determination. The unseen enemy, starved of division, faltered and finally retreated. Unable to manipulate a land united by courage and cooperation. As the sun rose, bathing Pride Rock in golden light, Kion surveyed the Pride lands. No scars of battle marred the earth, but the hearts of the animals had been transformed. They had learned that fear, while natural, could be conquered when faced together. Strength was important, but courage shared, guided, and coordinated was unstoppable. Kion realized that the Lion Guard's greatest victories were never about defeating enemies. They were about empowering others to rise above their own doubts and fears. The Guards stood together, not just as protectors, but as symbols of hope. 2. Each member bore the marks of experience and lessons learned, not just from physical trials, but from guiding others through the intangible battles of fear and uncertainty. The Pridelands had endured, not because of power alone, but because teamwork, trust, and courage had created a force stronger than fear itself. That night, as stars reflected off the rivers and stretched across the sky, Kion understood what it meant to lead with heart. Fear would always return, as it is part of life. But the Lion Guard had proven that it could never rule while unity, bravery, and wisdom stood as guardians. The land slept safely, the circle of life renewed, and heroes had risen not from strength alone, but from the courage to face fear together. The story of the Lion Guard would endure, a testament that true heroism is not measured by the size of claws, the force of a roar, or the speed of a sprint, but by the ability to stand together, support one another, and become stronger than the fears that threaten to divide. In the Pridelands, courage was no longer solitary, was shared, multiplied, and unstoppable.